Excellent. I think we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a small video on the different types of university ecosystems available
Excellent.
for
I think we are
Indian
live.
students. And yes, that was the background sound of the video being live streamed on YouTube. That confirms that we are live now. Um, So this is SN Mentoring's official YouTube channel. You can subscribe to it and share the information or some of the videos that, if you find them useful, with other people who might benefit from it. As I was saying, welcome to a small session on the type of university ecosystems available for Indian students today. Contrary to what most people understand, Indian students have plethora of options available for them in today's world. These were not there in the last 10 years ago. These were not there 20 years ago, for sure. Slowly, as we have advanced, as our economy has opened up, as more people have more disposable income, the demand for quality education and different types of education has also increased in our country. Catering to that demand, many private uh, companies, big business houses have stepped up and created very unique offerings, very unique opportunities when it comes to your bachelor's education. On top of that, the National Education Policy 2020, which has mandated a lot of changes in the higher education ecosystems in India, have added to all those wonderful offerings. So much so that a student who completed his or her education from high school around 15 years ago, when he or she would see the options available today, he would literally be spoiled for choices. That's why I wanted to create this small video for all of you to understand. This video is targeted towards all the high school students who are right now preparing, or maybe sitting for their pre-board examinations, sitting for their mock examinations before their finals or board examinations. This video targets all students, whether you're studying for CBSE or the ICSE board, or you're studying for any of the state education boards, or even if you're studying for international boards like IB or Cambridge A levels. So let's begin. The first type of university ecosystem, which most of you are aware of, will be the traditional Indian universities. We're going to discuss four ecosystems today. The first one is a traditional Indian university. Now, the traditional Indian university is a university that everyone, all of us aspire to. Well, when I say all of us, maybe more our parents and teachers aspire for those universities more than probably the students do. So let's discuss what they are. Now, Indian traditional universities. Next slide. The Indian traditional universities are primarily focused on the same kind of admission criteria which they have been using for the last 2 to 3 decades. They have modified some systems, they have upgraded some systems, there are computer based tests and so on. But more or less, the focus on a student's profile, or the parts of the student's profile which they focus on, remain the same. The first one, the first focus is academics. Usually, your merit score from your final examination in high school matters a lot over here. Secondly, they are all entrance based admissions, which means they are admissions based on some kind of aptitude testing or knowledge based testing. Aptitude tests are those tests which measure 10th level math and English, maybe some general knowledge and logical reasoning. But knowledge based tests, on the other hand, test your knowledge in a specific area. For example, JEE and NEET will test your knowledge in physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology. Design aptitude tests, such as the UCEED, will test your knowledge in design. These are called knowledge based tests. And I've actually done a very detailed podcast also with Mr. Bineet Binod, who's a leading test prep professional. We'll include the link to that also if you want more details about testing. Next part, which you need to understand about traditional Indian universities, are most public universities, be it Delhi University or any other central university, Annamalai University, IITs, NITs, AIMS, IISERs, or any of the niche institutes like Indian Institute of Printing and so on and so forth. They are all traditional Indian universities. Or you have very highly reputed legacy institutions like Manipal or VIT, SRM, Lovely Professional University, Amity, and so on. Which are having multiple campuses, or there are regional, hubs for education in different regions of the country. They are all Indian traditional universities. These universities tend to have higher brand value because our parents, your parents, might have studied from such institutions, so they believe in the education system or the education that they provide, and that is why these are still the most sought after education ecosystems. There is another reason, because the accessibility to these education systems is much higher, as usually they have low fees. However, programs in IIMs, for example, the integrated programs, can cost you anywhere between 20 to 30 lakh rupees. So these were the Indian traditional universities. Quickly moving on to the next type of university ecosystem, which is the new age universities. Now, this phenomena is, recent, around 10 to 15 years old. Most universities in this category are recently set up universities. You might not even have heard of them. That is not a problem. That is not wrong. These universities are based on US and UK pedagogies. They are offering liberal programs, liberal arts programs, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary studies, which offer you much more flexibility than a traditional Indian university, where mostly they are very fixed in their curriculum. There is less flexibility as to choosing electives and so on and so forth. These universities, however, offer you multiple majors, multiple minors. You can change from one major to another. You can change your degree within the college itself, and create a very unique, personalized experience, education experience, and curriculum for yourself in the 3 or 4 years that you spend in these universities. The admission to these universities is based on a combination of what Indian traditional universities use and what US and UK universities might be using. It requires you to have a very good profile with extracurricular activities. They have their own entrance examination. Sometimes they do accept other test scores like SAT and JEE and UCEED, etc. But they have their own entrance test. They also have an interview process, which might include an on-the-spot essay, which might include a group discussion activity, and it does definitely include a personal interview. And most of it is done online. And of course, there is a very detailed application that you have to submit before you go for the interview or the entrance test, which includes essays, which includes your predictive scores, that which your school might be endorsing you, that I think our student will score around 90% or whatever in their final high school exams. Then it requires letters of recommendations from the teachers that you have directly studied under, from your school counselor, maybe, or maybe even somebody from the industry where you might have done some internship. Most of these universities require 2 to 3 letters of recommendations. Letters of recommendation. Then you need to do understand they are private institutions. Their fees is much higher as compared to traditional Indian universities, sometimes double or triple the amount as well. But the kind of infrastructure that they provide, the kind of faculty members that they have, the kind of research orientation, the kind of exposure, the kind of activities that are available on the campus are very, very high quality, are at global standards. So the fees can be justified against those options, but still, for an average Indian household, it is a very expensive option. And very few of them offer scholarships. The scholarships that they offer are mostly need based. Financial documents are required for that. Places like Ashoka, Jindal, Plaksha, Shulini, Mahindra, Flame, Kriya, Vijay Bhumi, Masters Union Natria, ISBF, Thapar, Libla, Shivnadar, Voxin, Mahindra, Ahmedabad. There are around 20 odd new age universities spread all across India, mostly near major urban centers, major metro centers like Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, etc. All right, next. So the next type is study abroad. Again, study abroad is a huge, huge topic itself, but these options do exist for Indian students. Now it's become more and more easier, much easier for students to access education abroad. I think last year some 7.5 lakh students from India went abroad. But we need to understand where they went and how they went, because there are two types of application for study abroad institutions. One is through university application, through university application through university agents. I'm sorry, in the slide it's just written application. It's through university agents. So multiple international universities, they have their network of agents spread throughout the country, who actually go to schools, who have their offices in multiple city centers, where you can go and inquire what kind of universities exist, and then they facilitate the entire process. These university agents are not supposed to charge you any money, because their business model depends on the revenue sharing that happens directly with the university abroad. Most Indian students who go abroad go through university agents in India. They might be going for bachelor's, master's, or any other program, but university agents do exist, and they have multiple universities which are offered. A lot of universities which are mid-ranked or low-ranked internationally, they primarily use university agents for their student recruitment purposes. And most Indian students, as I said, go through these study abroad agents to study abroad. Then comes the direct application to the university. Most of the universities within the student agent ecosystem also have direct application. I mean, you can go to their website and directly apply there. And a lot of other universities, they don't really have study abroad agents where revenue sharing is done, but they do have outreach offices all over India. These universities are highly selective, very prestigious, and that is why a direct application for them makes much more sense. And that is where a lot of IECs, international education counselors, we also do that at SN Mentoring, can offer you very good guidance, because their application can be very subjective. It's a very tedious, intense process, and tailoring that application to the needs of the university can take will actually, you would want to take a lot of guidance before you actually apply there. Now, in these direct applications, multiple things are required, and Indians are actually studying almost in multiple countries across the world, in every continent. The big four are obviously US, UK, Canada, and Australia. Canada and Australia have recently, slashed a lot of or capped their international admissions and visas. So most of the rush today is towards the US again, and UK as well. But US will emerge the highest recipient of Indian students, in our opinion. However, Europe Plus category is receiving a lot of applications as well. Countries like Finland and France, they're receiving a lot of Indian applications now. Ireland, a lot of Eastern European countries, and also New Zealand have received a lot of applications from India. Then we have nearshore category, which is highly developed education ecosystems, but nearby to our country. So Singapore is a high quality destination, along with Hong Kong. And then we also have a lot of universities in the Middle East. For example, in Dubai itself, there are some 70 odd campuses from universities across the world, including some Indian universities like SPJN and BITS and IMT and so on and so forth. Then there are a lot of students going for studies to East Asia as well, Japan, Central Asia as well, and South Asia too. So as you can see, all these universities, you can apply, you can explore them. They do have their representatives in India. There might be admission agents, and there might be outreach professionals. If you're going for a very prestigious, highly ranked university, then the recommendation is to take advice from an IEC, so that your application is, presented in the best possible way. And it always takes a lot of it will add a lot of value if you do consider your visa chances as well, because even after receiving an admission letter, getting a student visa is a different process altogether. And if you're not eligible, if your application is not up to the mark, you might not get the visa to study there, even though you have an admission letter or an offer letter. All right. What do they need? They need a lot of things: extracurricular activities, standardized scores, holistic profile. They need, application. Some of them also might have interviews. They need your letters of recommendation. They need predictive scores. They need English proficiency scores like IELTS or TOEFL, and so on and so forth. Multiple university programs require multiple standardized tests sometimes. In the US, SAT, ACT, and sometimes if you are, from Indian boards, it is recommended that AP should also be taken. Whereas in the UK, for different entrances, you have different standardized scores. For example, for law admission in UK, you need to sit for LNAT, and for sciences there is more, and so on and so forth. Another major factor what you need to understand is scholarships are available, but scholarships are limited, and you have to be extremely well prepared in order to apply for merit based scholarships, because the education over here is quite expensive as compared to Indian options. And within these countries also the expenses vary. For example, US can be the most expensive destination, whereas some places in Europe can be very, very affordable as well. Next, please. And finally, we come to the fourth university ecosystem. Sorry for the longish video, but this one is quite important, quite interesting as well. These are hybrid pathway programs, wherein a lot of parents who come to us, they express their concern as to, we don't think our child is yet ready to, manage things on his or her own, to go alone outside, live in a different country, settle down over there, manage their expenses, manage their daily lives, along with studies and the rigor of college and so on. So they want their children to first experience life in India outside their homes, and then probably go abroad. That is why there's a general formula which is recommended by a lot of educators, which has no scientific basis, by the way. But a lot of educators and a lot of professionals do recommend that you do your bachelor's in India and then you do your master's abroad. And probably that is one of the reasons why most Indian students who go abroad, the majority of them are master's students. But any which way, that trend is shifting now a little bit towards bachelor's. Um, so in order to make sure that your child has some exposure, first of all in India before they move out, and secondly also not to completely invest a large amount of money in studying abroad, there are some interesting programs which have come up. They are called hybrid or pathway programs as well. What you do in that is you can spend 2 years in India, or you can spend 3 years in India and 1 year abroad, 2 years in India, 2 years abroad in your bachelor's, or maybe some other combination as well. Or in masters, what you can do is you can spend 1 year in India and 1 year abroad. A lot of universities offer different kind of programs for this, wherein they have their own requirements. For example, you will have to get a certain amount of marks. You have to perform at a certain level before they allow you to move to their campuses abroad. Some programs also offer you programs where in all the 4 years of your bachelor's degree you spend in a different country. So multiple such programs are there. Examples are Shivnadar, Vijay Bhumi, Shulini, ISBF, SPGen Global, and a bunch of other places. In fact, a lot of new age universities are now offering these hybrid kind of programs, wherein you spend some time in India, then you spend some time abroad. Sometimes you do get work visa opportunities as well. So a lot of different options are available, and some of these options can be the cheapest option to study abroad as well, at one third, one fourth the actual cost of studying abroad, because a lot of the time and money that you're spending is going to be spent in India, and that brings down the overall expenditure that you have. All right. So these are the four university ecosystems that we wanted to discuss. This video is in English, I understand. We will try to make a video in Hindi as well, so that it reaches more people. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments, or in the description of the video. We will share a form with you, wherein if you want your high school, if you want your higher education counseling done, you can fill that form and our team will get in touch with you. Time for some questions. I am joined by my team members. Guys, do you have any questions that I can answer here? All right. How can I choose between traditional university and new age university? That actually is a very valid question. Well, usually the choice is made for you when it comes to traditional Indian universities. I'm talking about highly ranked public universities. Why? Because the number of applicants to Delhi University and IIMs and IIT and AIMS, that is disproportionate, highly disproportionate to the number of seats that they have. For example, I think the total number of seats in JEE will be some 1,20,000 or something, but some 12 lakh, 14 lakh students are appearing for JEE. So if you're not coming in merit, as it is, you're not getting those seats, right? So those traditional universities will be out of reach for you anyhow. And then you can go for traditional Indian universities which are private, which will accept that merit score of yours, and you can choose between that school. Or if you want to, and if you have the financial resources, if you understand the nature of new age universities, if you understand why liberal arts or multidisciplinary makes sense and how it is going to be very different from specific niche programs, then you should definitely choose new age universities as well. Universities like Ashoka, Plaksha, Shivnadar, Flame, they are already becoming very, very selective. So it's not easy to get into them as well. You have to prepare well, you have to prepare a good application, you have to prove to them that you're a good candidate. And that is why, if you want to choose, well, this choice will depend on multiple factors. So, what I usually tell everyone is you prepare for both. All right, especially if you're a non-science candidate, you prepare for both, and you apply to both, you reserve your seat somewhere, and then once your 12th class is over, in the month of June, July, when we have results of almost everything available to us, then we can choose whether to go for a traditional Indian university or a new age university or something else. So apply to multiple places, so that you have more options to choose from. Remember, India is a humongous country. Never ever underestimate the competition. So the sooner you plan, the sooner you apply, the better for you. Okay, one more question. Many students still prefer public universities for their affordable fees, especially from middle class. How can we encourage them to go for other universities? You're absolutely right. So, again, as I said earlier, financial consideration is extremely important over here. If you are willing to spend anywhere between 20 to 40 lakhs for a 4 year education in a new age university, then please consider that university seriously. Otherwise, if financial constraints are a major criteria for your decision making, then there is no point. Or please explore the scholarship options then. For example, I know Shivnada University offers a lot of scholarships. So then you can consider the scholarship options, see your eligibility, plan accordingly, develop your profile accordingly, so that you have an option of either going to a new age university or a traditional Indian university if you get favorable results after applications to both of them. That is the first part. The second part is, see, if you are if financial considerations are not important, if they are not important, I would want you to compare the infrastructure of the traditional Indian university with the new age university that you are going to apply to. I have told, we at SN Mentoring actually tell all the parents who have never heard of new age universities, but they are actually the right candidates for new age university programs. Even after they are convinced that yes, they should apply to new age universities, I ask them to personally go and visit the campus before they make up their mind, because they need to understand where their child is going. New age universities are new. That means their campuses are usually outside the cities, in remote areas. So they need to understand where the child is going. Having said that, IITs and NITs are also not bang in the center of the cities. I mean, apart from old IITs, which have now come inside the city, like Delhi and Bombay and all, even Madras for that matter. But most of NITs are outside. NIT Delhi is at the border of Delhi and Haryana. So you need to understand where your child is going. Secondly, you need to understand what kind of infrastructure is there, because a lot of parents are very concerned about the hostel facilities, the mess facilities. Trust me, the hostel facilities in public universities will not be comparable to a restaurant or a hotel or anything. In fact, I mean, it's actually a very good personality building exercise also, because I studied in a traditional public university. I've spent time in the mess and eaten that food. It's not great, but it does the work. However, new age universities have very, very refined, messes and mess facilities, cafe facilities, and hostel facilities. That is a big factor for a lot of parents. So again, please go ahead and do that research before you make that plunge, because also the investment is not small. So you should know what you're buying before you actually buy it. All right. Any other questions, guys? Excellent. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it became a longer video. We always plan to make a video which is 10 to 15 minutes long, but then there is so much information to share, right? And it's a free flow, video. It's a live. Hopefully, we can shorten our videos in the future so that you get the information that you want in the quickest way possible. We will share a lot of details in the description of the video as well. Please share the video with somebody who might benefit from this, and also subscribe to SN Mentoring for other such videos and more updates. I hope all of you have a wonderful application and admission season, and stay safe. Thank you so much. See you next time.